Hi everybody. Today we're doing something a little bit different from what I usually do, the HSK standard textbooks. And today I would like to talk about my favorite Chinese book. It is a book that's written about 2,500 years ago, something like that, and by a guy called Lao Tzu. Nobody really knows the existence of this guy. So this book could be written by many people, like the Bible. It is actually the Bible of Taoism. There's two books altogether. One is called Dao De Jing, and the other one is called De Jing. And usually when we talk about this book, we refer it as one book, Dao De Jing. There are only 5,000 characters in this book, but the content of the book is extremely rich. Chinese people have been studying this book for 2,500 years, and it has been influencing Chinese culture and people's mentality quite a lot. I mean, to some extent, I personally think this book is more important than the Confucius books. Well, for one thing, I think this guy, Lao Tzu, is definitely much cooler than Confucius, which is called Kongzi, right? I'm not a big fan of Confucius, but I'm a huge fan of Lao Tzu. So now today for this lesson, I'm going to talk about the first chapter of the book. I found this video that explains the book a little bit, and I will try to translate the video while we're learning some Chinese from it, and at the same time I might add a few things for my own understanding of what the book is all about. Now, without further ado, let's go into the book.
道可道，非常道；名可名，非常名。无名天地之始，有名万物之母。故常无，欲以观其妙；常有，欲以观其教。此两者，同出而异名，同谓之玄。玄之又玄，众妙之门。
Right. I bet you have no idea what was going on. And because this book was written about 2,000 years, more than 2,000 years ago, the Chinese is ancient Chinese, which is radically different from the modern Chinese. The grammar, the vocabulary, almost everything. And look at the way it's written is different. I mean, it's written from here to there, from up to down, and from left to right. And that's exactly how ancient Chinese used to look like until about 100 years ago. If I hadn't read this book for many times, I wouldn't be able to understand that as well. And if you show this to an average Chinese person, the chances are they wouldn't be able to understand it. Although, if you look at this context, there are some Chinese characters you probably will be able to recognize, like 非常, yeah, very, or 天, the sky. 有 is to have. 无 is to not have or have not. Well, and another thing about this text is these are all written in traditional Chinese. But when I'm talking about the meaning of the sentences, I will try to translate them into simplified Chinese by typing them in here. Not a lot of Chinese people know everything about the first chapter, but I would say most Chinese people would have heard of the first two lines. Those are very famous lines, and could be used as a sort of Chinese sayings nowadays. They are 道可道，非常道；名可名，非常名。 Right, now let's try to understand that and understand what Dao is, which is the core concept of this book. And Taoism, the word Dao, is that Dao. They are the same Dao. Although in English sometimes people write it as Tao. In Chinese pinyin, it's actually Dao. Just for your information. All right, now let's take a look.
道是这样这样这样这样，如此这般。
All right, so now we have an older guy talking to a younger guy, and the older guy is trying to explain 道是这样这样这样 like this, like this, 如此这般的。如此这般 also means like this, very, very formal way, a little bit ancient way of saying just like this.
这样这样这样啊，我懂了。
The younger guy says, 这样这样这样啊，我懂了。You probably know what 懂 means I understand. Oh, I understand. Then Lao Tzu, the philosophical dude, Lao Tzu himself, the wisest man ever lived, came to explain.
错了错了，不是这样。
And he said, 错了错了，不是这样的。No, that's wrong. It's not like that. Like what? Whatever that is, it is not like that. Because
道如果可以说得明白，解释得清楚，
道如果 if 可以说得明白 a the structure can be spoken clear 解释 explain 清楚 clear if 道 can be spoken clearly it can be explained clearly
那就不是道。
then it is not Dao anymore. So once you explained it, it is not Dao anymore. That means it cannot be explained by human language.
道包含万物之理，
道包含万物之理 and this 理 is almost like Dao. We sometimes put Dao and the 理 together to say 道理 which means a theory, a reasoning. 万物 one is 10,000 meaning a lot. 物 objects, thousands of objects, meaning that everything in the world. 知 is 的 in ancient Chinese. So the theory of everything. Dao contains the theory of everything.
道包含万物之理，没有形状，没有声音。
没有形状 and 没有声音。形状 shapes, 声音 sounds. It's not anything that you can touch or see or hear.
没有实体，
没有实体，实体 sort of means entity or substance. It doesn't have, it's not a material.
而且永恒不变。
永恒不变 is actually a good idiom. 永恒不变 means it's internal. It never changes. It's always there and it's always gonna be like that.
这个道理不是用语言文字所能解说的明白的。
这个道理 this theory 不是能用 cannot, it is not that it can be used by 语言 and 文字。语言 is language like 汉语语言，文字 is words like 中文 okay? 能解释说的明白的 cannot be used by language, spoken language or written language to explain clearly.
这个包含万物的叫什么道理？
Right, so this man is asking, 这个包含万物 this containing thousand objects, which means containing everything, the structure, 叫什么道理 What theory then is this thing that contains everything?
不行不行，它是无名的。
叫什么道理？
不行不行，它是无名的。
And the Lao Tzu says, 不行不行 No, cannot. No, cannot. You cannot do that. Right? 它是无名的。无 is not have. 名 is a name. It does not have a name.
这也是没办法给它加上一个名称来称谓的。
这也是 this is also 没有办法 there's no way 给它 for it 加上 to add 什么一个名称 a 名称 is also 名字 right so there's no way that he can put a name on this thing to call it whatever
因为你称它假，它就不是乙。
因为 because 你称它假 same thing as 你叫它假，它就不是乙。Now what is 假？乙 This 甲乙 doesn't really mean anything. It's more of like A and B. It's a pronoun of a random thing. So if you call it A, then it's not B anymore. But this thing is everything. So how can you call it A instead of B?
称它为白，它就不是黑了。
And if you call it 白 white, then it is not black anymore. So if you once you put a name on it, then it is not the opposite of this name anymore. So it cannot possibly contain everything or every meaning of the universe. Therefore, we cannot use language to explain what this Tao it really is, except for calling it the Tao.
要了解大道，
要了解，了解 is to understand as well. Right? Comprehend, understand. A bit like 懂。
不能执着语言、文字和名称。
不能执着，执着 is sort of too much focus on something. 不能执着于语言、文字和名称。Same thing. You cannot focus on language or names.
完全要靠心灵去领悟。
完全 completely 要靠 to depend on. Call is sort of like depend on. Depend on 心灵去领悟。心灵 might be a new word for you. It means your heart or your soul, which is kind of a profound concept. 去领悟. And 领悟 is another word, a fancy word for to comprehend.
否则就会误入歧途了。
否则就会误入歧途了。否则 is otherwise. 误入歧途 is another idiom that means you're on the wrong path. You're not just on the wrong path, but indicating that this path can be dangerous, can be harmful to somebody.
明白这个道理之后，
明白这个道理之后 after understanding this 道理
就可以谈谈天地万物创生的情形了。
Then you can 谈一谈 or talk about 天地 the sky or the heaven, 地 the ground or the nature, 万物 everything, 创生 how they are created. 情形 means the situation. Only when you understand the concept that it cannot be named or explained or pinpointed or described, then you can talk about the rest of the book or how this doll was created.
哇，好棒啊！快点说。
So this guy is getting really excited. He said, 好棒啊！棒 means awesome. He said, awesome. 棒，太棒了。好棒啊。Okay? 快点说 speak fast or speak quickly. Please talk quickly about it.
天地开始的时候，没有实物，没有形象。
天地开始的时候 blah 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 的时候 so whenever it happened. The beginning 开始 is the beginning. 天地 means again the sky and the ground. So basically the universe. When the universe began, 没有实物 there's no substance. 没有形象 there's no image. There's nothing at all. There's just a nothingness in there.
像这种情形可以称之为无。
这种情形 this situation, this status 可以称之为 can be called as 无 nothingness. You can call this status as nothingness.
无就是道的本体，宇宙的本源。
Then Wu is the Dao 的本体。本体 means the base, the actual body, the original body, the base, the background of Dao. Is nothing. There's nothing. Nothing is the base of what Dao is. 宇宙的本源，那宇宙 is the universe. 本源 is the origin, and that is the origin of the universe. Nothing. Absolutely nothing at all.
当道一产生创生的作用，
当道一产生创生的作用，作用 means the effect. Once Dao started to create, 产生 is to create, 创生 is to creation. When it begins to start creation and the effect of creation,
万物就随之而生。
万物, then everything was created with it. And that can be called,
可称之为有。
that can be called 有, which is to have. So there was nothing at all. And that's the base of the Dao. But Dao started working. I don't know how it started working, but it just started working. Or started creating things. And then everything was created. And then the everything that it created is called 有. So nothing and everything. This process was dominated and ruled by this Dao. So what is Dao now? Dao is the rule of the universe, the reasoning, right? The theory behind everything. Why we are here, the meaning of life, the truth, the universal whatever. But again, as the book says, we cannot name it. We can only try to feel it. Once I named it, once I put that into my language, then it is not that anymore. So you have to just be quiet and just feel or think what that is. Of course, if somebody talks like that to you, you probably will just poke him in the eyes like you're the most pretentious person I've ever seen in my life. But if you actually read the whole book, you will understand this person is not only pretentious, but also very philosophical.
这有就是道的作用。
这有 and this have 就是 just is 道的作用 and 作用 is the effect or influence.
所以，当想到天地的本源是无，
Therefore, 当想到 当 is put in the beginning of the sentence, means when blah blah blah. 当想到 when think of 天地的本源 and 本源 is the origin. When you think about the origin of the universe is nothing. That's what this sentence means.
就可以了解道的本体精微奥妙。
Then you would be able to understand 你就可以了解道的本体 Then you would understand the body of the Dao is actually very subtle, very profound. Because it's nothing. Of course, it's the most profound thing ever. Nothing. if that makes any sense.
想到万物的根源是有，
And then the origin of everything is 有 which means to have.
就可以了解道的作用广大无边。
Then you can understand that what Dao can do. 广大无边，你可以了解 you can understand 道的作用 the influence of Dao or the utilization of Dao is 广大无边 means massive, right? Unmeasurable because it can create anything from nothing. from a most profound concept to everything that we can see right now in the universe. So the ability, the power of Tao is absolutely great.
无和有，一个是道的本体，一个是道的作用。
So 无 nothing, 有 have, one of them is the origin of Tao. One of them is the effect of Tao. 一个是道的本体，一个是道的作用。
可以说，同出于道，只是名称不同而已。
Then it brings a new concept. So this nothing and this everything can also be viewed as one thing. They are both coming out of the Tao. It's just being named differently.
都可以称为玄妙。
They can all be called mystery. 玄妙 is mystery. 可以称为玄妙. Then 玄妙 can be used as a adjective as well, which means mysterious. So the mystery can be very mysterious.
玄妙而又玄妙啊！那就是宇宙万物创生的本源道了。
That, everything that I've just said, that is the origin of Tao that created everything in the universe. If you understand what I mean, or if you understand what this guy was trying to say. All right, now to sum up.
宇宙的本体是无。
Again, the 本体, the body of the universe, the origin of the universe is nothing.
由无创生天地。
And then nothing creates the sky and the ground, which means the universe.
由天地而生万物。
And then the universe, the sky and the ground, creates everything between them.
终于形成了万象纷纭的世界。
And finally, 终于 is finally, 形成 is to form. Finally, it formed a 万象纷纭. That's another idiom, which means with everything, with a very rich content, colorful, with everything, with all phenomenon. So, I hope you get it. I mean, that's, if you think about it, that sounds like Bible. Sounds like the first chapter of what happened in the Bible, right? How this world was created. There was nothing there. Then Tao came, and then Tao split. Tao created the surroundings of the universe, and then the universe, the surroundings of the universe, created everything. And how did he do it? We don't know. Well, basically, it's just a very messy, philosophical, vague picture of yin and yang, nothing against something. So that's the beginning of the universe, according to this Bible. For me, I'm still struggling to understand what Tao really is, just because it's just language is absolutely too vague. It's the vaguest language ever. I mean, this is actually explained by some guy using modern Chinese, and could be a misunderstanding or mistakes towards the actual meaning of the original context, original text, which can be understood by different people very much differently. So it's very vague context that can be translated roughly from one guy's opinion, what you just heard just now. All right, hope you had fun, and press like if you want me to continue to do this, and I might, I don't know, I might continue to do this if the feedback from my students is good. All right, so that's all for today. Thank you very much. I see you later next time.